What's going on in here?
Well, I've been doing some thinking. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess it depends on your point of view, the guy who I hired as a consultant for that Orc and Bone campaign setting I'm about to put out, he's in the center of a little bit of a controversy. Even though he's not the one who wrote it, there's this thing going around about this blacklist about woke role-playing game companies that lists the various companies as either red being they're extremely woke and hostile to the older gamers, you have your yellow neutral companies, and you have your green actively anti-SJW companies. And, seeing as like his name's going to be in the book as consultant and all that kind of stuff, I guess I kind of need to address it a little bit. I don't want to disavow the guy because that's like not really the position I'm taking or any of that kind of stuff. Though I can say from having witnessed it, there is a little bit of there's an aspect of him deferring away from the fact that he's not the one who wrote it that strikes me a little bit as like a plausible deniability kind of card. But these are the times we live in, so I'm not necessarily saying that's a negative on his part. But I've heard a lot of fire against fire rhetoric about why this is going on. And it's funny that the left role-playing game community is up in arms about it as much as they are after years and years of promoting block lists and all that kind of stuff on Twitter, and now someone put out a list that's listing them for having said the stuff they've said, and many of these companies like purposely putting disclaimers on their stuff saying that we don't want fascists and bigots playing our games or spending their money on us, that they're not a twist, that the fascists and the bigots, as they call them, have a list to make sure they're not buying, playing, or spending money on these companies. It's kind of what they seemingly wanted. But they're all up in arms. And like I said, there's this fire against fire mentality that's being expressed. The thing is blacklists are like, that's putting your toe in the baby pool level of fire against fire here. In many ways, you look back at the greater history of what's been unfolding in our society, the idea that you're going to be able to like turn around and stop this train of psychopolitics, like we're 50 years kind of beyond that point, so it's a really heavy uphill struggle. The thing is because the modern left is multiple iterations beyond where it started, so I feel there might be some chance for vulnerability to use their original techniques against them, because they're no longer really on that page. I feel like there's a couple of different things you can do if you're serious about engaging in this little like emergent war between the two sides of the role-playing game community. You can either have the leadership of both sides coordinate each other in secret and play each other off as controlled opposition. That would make the most economic sense for everybody. I don't think that's the headspace people are in right now. So if you want to really fight fire with fire against these social justice warriors, the woke role-playing games, then that's going to take psychological warfare. You're going to have to find some way to defame the youth of that group in such a way that it gets the older members, the Generation X members of the left role-playing games, to distrust their younger members and create a rift between the two that would make the younger ones more amenable to your message. And, that's a tall order. Simpler things would be doing stuff like, taking their sacred cows and, making a mockery out of them. The boycotting them isn't going to work. Boycotts don't work generally. I mean, just look at the state of pornography in society. Like, did any of those Methodist and Baptist boycotts of Playboy at 7-Eleven in the 80s and 90s do anything? No. We're like more surrounded by smut than ever in any time in human history. So clearly, there's a thing, it calls attention to the stuff. It's like the Streisand effect. The thing I've pointed out before, when the left, tries to cancel someone on the right, all they've done is just boosted their signal. So in a way, this is just going to be doing that for the other side. People who might never have heard of thirsty sword lesbians now have, because a couple of larger YouTube channels have picked up on the story and talked about it. That might lead them to getting more derision. It could get them more money. that's part of why the controlled opposition thing is a technique that a more economically minded subculture would embrace. But as I say, I really doubt that's the headspace people are in. But my personal suggestion, at least on like the sacred cow thing, is since it's been like such a big thing lately, it's real simple. Create a live stream, promote the fuck out of it. What you're going to do is you're going to have everyone's playing characters that are equipped with combat wheelchairs, and that the basic thrust of the adventure is you're having their modern 5th edition owl and elephant people in wheelchairs going into the classic Gary Gygax Tomb of Horrors dungeon and play it just exactly as it is written, without really having to lean too far into it. Just that whole experience should unfold in such a way as to just really underscore how ludicrous the whole combat wheelchair thing is. Other than that, like I said, like psychological warfare isn't easy, especially when you're like 50 years behind the times. So, I guess I could just wish them good luck and all that ruddy nonsense. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I think the spaghetti's ready? Anyway, hit like and subscribe and all that stuff. Tell me what a terrible human being I am in the comments. Be sure to read The Politics of Psychopolitics by Kenneth Joff. And, yeah, all that good stuff. Stay waspinated.